France got hands on it to disrupt, and it has gone forwards. And it will be the final moment of the match. Nick Berry signals the knock-on and blows the final whistle.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode in this channel. Yeah, for this piece, I am doing a review on a warm-up game that took place between France and Scotland. It was played in France, in Saint-Etienne. It's tagged a warm-up, but really, personally, I don't think these are really warm-ups. Yeah, although the teams are gonna hold some things back, some tricks back. You know, they're not gonna reveal everything, but I think these games are really serious games. These are test matches. Yeah, so I know it was a warm-up, but I didn't have the expectations of seeing a lousy game. I was really expecting a very competitive game, fast-paced and very quality style of rugby, overall. Both teams came with their big guns. Probably these were their strongest teams that they lined up for this game. Both France and Scotland. Even the benches were I think they were simulating their best. These were the best they could be. The best lineup and the best they could be. Yeah. So in my expectations was that France were coming to this game with revenge, wanting to revenge the loss they got in Scotland last week in Edinburgh. But it was Scotland who actually started very well here, not France. Started very well, Scotland, putting France under a lot of pressure early on in this game. And in one of the rucks, France committed a penalty, and Scotland kicked for touch and found themselves with the line out, 5 meters out from the French try line. And from this line out, they drove the ball. It was on the left-hand side of the field. So they threw the ball in. They drove a maul for maybe 4 meters, and then they played the ball for the full width of the field, and it ended up on the right-hand side to find Kyle Steyn, who went on to score a try for Scotland.
Penalty count. It's Jamie Ritchie, the skipper, who brings it down. Scotland opting away from the 3 points that would have been a certainty, looking to go for more. This is what the warm-ups are all about.
You got penalty advantage.
Price has another penalty advantage to play with as Jones just stutters. Wanted to try and get it away. They do get it away. It's Kyle Steyn for the corner.
First try, Scotland, visiting team. And I could hear the crowd going very quiet for France. Yeah, good start from Scotland. It's exactly how you start a test match. You start with dominance and you score points. You show that you're not here to play. You're here for business. Ascali. France had some ball also now. Got some ball position and played some successive, consecutive rucks. Also, we're putting Scotland under pressure, and Scotland infringed, and France got a penalty and opted to kick for 3 points through Ramos. They are full back. So this game this game is a rehearsal of how the World Cup will be. So the fabric of how the teams play, we're gonna see in these games, with of course a few set tricks, you know, there and there to catch the other opponents by surprise in the World Cup. But the fabrics, the basic building blocks of how each team plays, we're gonna see how in these warm-ups. Yeah, the Scots looked really good in ball position with their accurate offloads. The way they were running, the running lines they were making in Scotland, the way they offload the passes, short pass, inside pass, the way they were recycling the ball in the rucks, the Scots, they were gaining advantage line at some times. They were good in contacts against a very big French pack, but they were very good, Scotland. I was actually very impressed with Scotland here. I think they were playing a very big pack of France, but they managed to match them. Yeah. Later in the play, France got another penalty. And this time around, now Scotland were getting warmed. They already warned by the referee that they were conceding too many penalties. And this time around, a yellow card was given out to Ali Price by the ref. And now Scotland went a man down now. They're playing with 14 men now. After this yellow card, France now piled up the pressure on Scotland and end up scoring a try from a scrum under the post, close to the post inside the 22. They scored a try through tarmac. What a beautiful try.
Goal, open up! Scotland drive them back well. That time it's Olivon once more.
Playing advantage, blue.
Now Dupont and his club colleague Ntamak, who were just trying to force Scotland into chasing shadows. Ramos is stood directly behind the scrum with Ntamak. They're going to flood to the left-hand side. Dupont, Ntamak, it's opening up for the fly half, and he will score the try.
Yeah, but still they look very emotional, the French. They look very emotional. Yeah. So now, I think to around 35th minute 35, Scotland now had no number 9. In one of the rucks, Finn Russell had to play 9, and he attempted to go for a box kick, but he butchered it and kicked it on the full.
Of course.
Just stay there.
Russell.
That's on the full.
Oh. Goes for the box kick, and you can hear the...
So, yeah, this is one of the mistakes they committed, Scotland, when they didn't have their number 9. So now with 4 minutes to go, a yellow card, a man down. Scotland managed somehow to win a penalty inside their half. They were under a lot of pressure from France, but they managed to win a scrum penalty here. So after the scrum penalty, because it's so close to half-time, I'm thinking that Scotland need to survive this half. Because they are only 3 points behind. Yeah, France. France gets another penalty close to the Scottish post, but again they opt to go for corner. I can understand why they went for corner here, because I feel like they thought the numerical advantage and the fact that Scotland are under a lot of pressure under those warnings from the referee, but they failed to do anything from this line out. France just on the brink of half time.
Little flash of lightning possibly in the distance over the stadium. Oh.
And halftime reaches, and score is France 13, Scotland 10. So my first half summary is that Scotland were good in the first half. With the men down, they managed to concede only 7 points during that period of the yellow card. France need to really calm down and be less emotional. They are too emotional. They look like they are very much a team that's under pressure. It's not even the World Cup yet, but they are very emotional. I'm worried about what they're going to be like when they actually is the World Cup. Yeah, the French. So it's a weakness that I would use if I were opposing teams. Use those emotions against them. They're very emotional, the French. And it judges how they make decisions when they are very emotional. So the second half comes, and 2 minutes into the second half, the French score. It's a beautiful try through Penot on the left-hand side there, on the corner, close to the corner there. It was initiated by Dupont. Yeah, Dupont is the one who made the final pass to Penot.
Open up, blue! Thank you.
Dupont centres it on down the short side again. Penot with the fend and the dive into the corner.
Dupont is number 9, is the main guy for France here. Everything it touches turns into something very good. He is the main catalyst for France. As again, France scores another try through Olivon. It was Dupont who started this try again. But I want to say something about this try, the one they scored through Olivon. I think this try is scored from the fact that France like scoring, they like attacking teams from returning kicks. So what they'll do, they will kick to you, right? And then the team will get the ball. and then they'll kick it back to France. And then for some reason, France likes attacking from that ball, the returning ball. They like attacking from returning balls when you are still in transition, France. And they did the same thing to Scotland here. And I thought Scotland, for the majority of this game, were doing very well to counter that, because they're playing from deep. Even the Springboks, when they were playing France in last year in Paris, they used this tactic where they were playing mostly from deep to not return the kicks that France really liked attacking from. So I think Scotland were good, but they made one mistake here where I think they kicked this ball and then it found Ramos close to touch, and they played it quickly and found Dupont, and Dupont went to the line and passed again to Ramos on the left, and Ramos went in the transitional defense of Scotland that was still trying to reform, and found Olivon inside, and Olivon was left with Finn Russell. Finn Russell couldn't tackle him in mismatch, and he was in to score a try for France.
Keeps that infield. Coming down for Dempsey, who I think was half looking at Kinghorn, and it's only at the last minute he realised that Kinghorn was leaving him to claim it. France will have a chance to keep playing this.
Yeah, they'll go.
Ramos plays it in for Dupont, who bounces back to the short side and on to Ramos, and Ramos has got the gas to go up the touchline, plays it back infield for Olivon to go under the posts.
Yeah, it's a tactical try from France. It's a fabric of how they play mostly of their rugby. France, they like playing in chaos and stuff. Yeah, so yeah, the game was good. There was a lot of noise by this time. The fans were behind their team. Yeah, and France nearly scored another try, but from a very good play actually. But now, when they reviewed it, they realized that there was a knock on. Yeah. Scores. By this time, Scotland were really attempting to chase the game for multiple times, using their big ball carriers, their wingers, Duhan van der Merwe, and sometimes from themselves forcing passes from deep. There was a time when I think Kinghorn tried to make a pass to Duhan on the outside, but then he made a mistake.
Price back in field for Russell. Can he cast a few spells of his own as Scotland find the width to Van der Merwe? Did well to regather it, and it will be Van der Merwe who shows a good bit of footwork.
But from attempting all these deep plays, in one of these deep plays, they finally managed to score a try through Duhan van der Merwe. For making all these mistakes, trying to attempt to chase the game, finally it paid off here by scoring this try from Duhan van der Merwe.
Pinot wrestling on his back, trying to stop him every which way he could. Scotland still have it. Van der Merwe will be in for the score.
Now, to be honest, after this try, and by this time, I thought France were going to be far ahead, because I thought they were going to really switch up the gear and really just steamroll Scotland. But Scotland were able to manage to hold on to France, to stay in the game, and by holding on and staying in the game, they managed to eventually score another try through dodge from a quick play from Finn Russell. Yeah, staying in the game gave them hope, and this try they scored by being very stubborn and confronting France in their home turf. They scored this try through dodge. I must say, another note is that Scotland in this game were not kicking, as I think I've mentioned this before. They were not kicking a lot. Most of their plays came from running deep inside their 22 or their in-goal area. And what I must say is that they are very fit, Scotland. They look very fit, because they were running from minute 1 up until minute 80. Like, fast-paced running. They don't look any tired. They are so fit. They are so sharp, these guys in Scotland. And in one of these deep plays and building from deep, they eventually scored another try through Kyle Steyn.
Biarra finds his way there.
Just hold wide.
Scuffed that as a little bit of a flat kick, and Russell just managed to find Javan Sebastian to do the a bit more of the piano shifting work for him. Ritchie
Shows to me that Finn Russell's up for the fight, though. Crashing the ball, he doesn't really need to do that. He's such a playmaker for Scotland, but he's willing to do it.
Oh, that's lovely from Kinghorn. Just that outside arc. Reminder of that fly half presence he has. Now the ball on the toe. Is it going to sit up for Kyle Steyn? He opened the scoring for Scotland.
Yeah, this try now levels everything now. The game gets balanced at 27-27 now. Now it's a matter of who now gets another penalty because it's close also to full time. So now, by this time, the Scottish scrum was doing very well. They were doing very well, the Scotland forwards, skirmishing against a big French pack, but considered a penalty just in front of their post. This was one of the only 2 penalties in the scrums they gave away, and Ramos stepped up to score for France the 3 points.
Crouch!
Horn with the ball. You got Kinghorn. He plays 10 as well as 15. He's on the right, and
Seconds remain on the match clock. To give France a 3-point lead. Up go the flag.
And the score becomes 30 France, 27 Scotland. And the game is not over, because Scotland get a penalty of their own, but they mess up their line out and France win this game. Full time, France 30, Scotland 27. What a game of rugby from both sides. It was very good, very entertaining, very technical, very accurate, especially from Scotland. I hope no one gets serious injuries, especially France in tarmac. I saw tarmac limping off. The Dupont was very immense for France, as usual. Catalyst. Everything they do, it revolves around Dupont. Dupont is the main guy there. Ramos was lethal off the tee, was kicking very well. I think kicked the majority of their points, almost half of their points to Ramos. The Scottish forwards were very good. They were doing very well. They scummed very well against a very big pack. Yeah, they really impressed me here, Scotland. Their forwards in the tackles, in the contact zones against a big French pack, they did really well. They were gaining some momentum sometimes in the gain line in some instances. So it was not really one-sided, especially in the physicality department. Yeah. France were lethal in their counter-attacks. Yeah, they scored a try in one of these counter-attacks. Yeah. Both teams are very fit, but France need to work on their emotions. They need to don't get too emotional. Relax a bit. Relax a bit. Level heads, calm, play rugby. Yeah, this was very good, guys. I'm very much impressed by these guys, actually. It was a very good game. Test match rugby. Thanks. Enjoy your afternoon.
Sean finds his man, down it comes, and then Tamac boots it straight down the throat of Chelsea Colby, who of course plays his club rugby in Toulon, with the attention of Faf de Klerk bearing down on him. Aronsa give him a